In the year 1692, a small Puritan settlement in Massachusetts became the stage for one of the most chilling episodes in human history. Salem was an isolated community, deeply religious, where the fear of the devil was as real as the fear of starvation or disease. The people believed they were God's chosen, a shining city on a hill, constantly under threat from the wilderness, from native tribes, from famine, and most of all, from Satan himself. It was in this climate of fear that the unthinkable began. In January of that year, Reverend Samuel Parris's daughter Betty and niece Abigail Williams began acting strangely. They screamed, contorted, and claimed invisible hands were pinching them. They barked like dogs, crawled under furniture, and shrieked in pain. To the people of Salem, there was only one explanation: witchcraft. Doctors examined the girls, but when no physical cause could be found, the verdict was chilling: the evil hand is upon them. Word spread quickly. Soon, other young girls in Salem began displaying the same terrifying fits, and Putnam Jr., Mercy Lewis, and others. They claimed they saw ghosts, spirits, and shadowy figures. Their accusations started small, but soon escalated to neighbors, church members, and respected townsfolk. What began as a handful of strange symptoms snowballed into one of the most infamous witch hunts in history. But here lies the mystery. Were these girls truly possessed, or were they lying? And if they were lying, why? Some historians argue it was mass hysteria, a psychological chain reaction triggered by fear. Once the first girls displayed symptoms, others, whether from genuine belief, pressure, or attention-seeking, followed suit. Others suggest something even stranger. One modern theory is ergot poisoning, caused by moldy rye bread. Ergot contains compounds similar to LSD, which can cause hallucinations, convulsions, and paranoia. Could the bread on Salem's tables have poisoned an entire town into madness? The first accused women were outsiders: Tituba, an enslaved woman from the Caribbean; Sarah Good, a destitute beggar; and Sarah Osborne, who rarely attended church. They were easy targets, poor, vulnerable, and already viewed with suspicion. Under interrogation, Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne denied the charges, but Tituba, she confessed. She told the court fantastical stories of black dogs, red cats, and witches' covens. She even said the devil himself had come to Salem. Was she trying to save her life by giving the judges what they wanted? Or had she, too, been swept up in the hysteria? Her confession set a deadly precedent. Suddenly, the idea of a vast network of witches hiding in plain sight seemed possible. Fear exploded. Accusations spread like wildfire. Prominent citizens were soon named: Martha Corey, Rebecca Nurse, even church members known for their piety. Once accused, it was nearly impossible to defend yourself. If you denied the charges, you were accused of lying. If you confessed, you confirmed the court's fears. Confession often spared your life, while denial led to execution. It was a trap with no escape. By summer, Salem had built a special court, the Court of Oyer and Terminer, led by Judge Samuel Sewell and the notorious Judge William Stoughton. Evidence against the accused was flimsy at best, but the court allowed spectral evidence, visions and dreams, in which the accusers claimed the spirits of the accused appeared to torment them. Imagine being condemned to death, not for what you did, but for what someone said they saw your ghost doing in their sleep. The trials became public spectacles. Crowds gathered as accused witches stood before the court. Facing their neighbors, their friends, even their own families turned against them. One by one, they were sentenced to hang. 19 people were executed, their bodies swinging from gallows on Gallows Hill. Another man, Giles Corey, refused to enter a plea. For his defiance, he was crushed to death under heavy stones, his last words said to be more weight. His resistance became legend, a symbol of silent protest against injustice. But beneath the surface of religious terror, other motives may have fueled the frenzy. Salem was a divided town, split between wealthy families fighting over land and influence. The Putnam family, in particular, accused many of their rivals. Was witchcraft just a convenient weapon in an old feud? Some scholars believe so, that the trials were as much about greed and politics as they were about religion. And then there was gender. Nearly all of the accused were women, many of them outspoken or independent. In a deeply patriarchal society, a woman who didn't fit the mold, who owned land, argued in church, or defied authority was easily branded a witch. Some historians argue the Salem witch trials were less about Satan and more about silencing women who challenged the order of things. The hysteria raged for months. By October, even respected leaders began questioning the madness. Increase Mather, a prominent minister, declared, "It were better that 10 suspected witches should escape than that one innocent person should be condemned." The tide turned. The Court of Oyer and Terminer was dissolved. Prisoners were released. The executions stopped. But the damage was done. 19 people hanged, 1 crushed. Dozens left to rot in prison, many dying before they could be freed. Families shattered, reputations destroyed, children orphaned. The town of Salem never fully recovered from the scars. Centuries later, the Salem witch trials remain a haunting mystery. What really caused it? Was it mass hysteria born of fear, ergot poisoning hidden in the bread, or cold, calculated manipulation by those who stood to gain from the chaos? Perhaps it was all of these, woven together into a storm no one could stop. What makes Salem so chilling is not just what happened, it's what it says about human nature. Fear has a way of blinding us, turning us against each other. In Salem, ordinary people became executioners, convinced they were doing God's work. How quickly suspicion can become accusation, and accusation can become death. Today, we see echoes of Salem in modern witch hunts, not literal ones, but political, social, and cultural frenzies where fear drowns out reason. The Salem Witch Trials are not just a story of the past. They are a warning for the future. Even now, the spirits of Salem linger. The town has turned its dark history into a tourist destination. Gallows Hill, the site of executions, is visited by thousands every year. Museums display the chilling artifacts of the trials. And yet, for all the answers we've uncovered, the true motives and causes remain shrouded in mystery. The Salem Witch Trials were more than an outbreak of superstition. They were a collision of fear, faith, power, and human weakness. A reminder that the line between order and chaos is razor thin, that the most terrifying demons we face are not supernatural, but the ones inside fear, the greed, the suspicion that can consume a community and destroy lives. Salem's story still asks us the same question that haunted the Puritans more than 300 years ago. When fear takes hold, when suspicion spreads, when reason falters, who will we accuse, and who will pay the price? If you enjoyed this journey through Mystery Vault, make sure to subscribe and join us for more mysteries of history and the world around us.